We are live. How's everybody doing this fine day? My name is Alan Roberts. A lot of you guys know me as that angry bald man. And a lot of you guys know me as that motherfucker. I can't stand his ass. I believe that's how a lot of people know me, is that fucking asshole. What a dickhead. And to those people I say, what's up, motherfuckers? Because I don't give a shit. But I hope everybody's having a great goddamn day. I know I am. It's been a really, really, really good day today. So far, had a great workout. I'm starting to really dial in, feel it, really, really well. And today I was doing some research. I was doing some studies for a project. Some studying for a project I'm working on. And the way I do studies and the way I read stuff, I basically have, for every little thought process, I have like a bookmark on my computer desktop, and then that's where all the studies live, right? That's where I put all the studies. Today, I'm going to make a case for why we should move away from the BMI index as a measurement, both in healthcare and just in general. Now, let me premise this. BMI, most of the time, the people that are upset with BMI, the body mass index, most of the time, the people that are upset with it, that say it's not fair, to say it's this, say it's that, blah, 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 most of the time, it is people that any of the anomalous things about BMI don't affect, right? So body mass index measures, basically it's how big you are, fat you are, tall, and weight, right? The issue with it is that it does not in any way structure around body composition. So now don't get me wrong, if your BMI is 35 and up, you're unhealthy. I don't give a shit if you're at 8% body fat and all your tests are good. That's just a lot of weight to be carrying, a lot of weight for your heart to be pushing, and it's just not healthy. And most people, most athletes at least, that are that big, absolutely 100% know this. They don't even think about it being different, like professional athletes. It's weird how people point that out, like, well, football players have high BMIs. Yeah, and they're not fucking healthy. I mean, it's so weird that like people use football players as an example. They run at each other and hit each other in the head on purpose. It's not a healthy sport. It's just not. But as you've heard me talk before, I much prefer waist to height ratio, and we are going to go over this on why for multiple reasons. But also, I just wanted to preface this though. If your BMI says you're obese, chances are you're obese. And for the vast majority of America, that obesity is going to be registered even as more obese by waist to height ratio. And that is one of the reasons why, just literally one of the reasons why I am for waist to height ratio versus BMI, is because there are many people who do not weigh all that much. They don't have a lot of body mass on them, and they are not what would be considered, like, you look at the person and they're not morbidly obese. They just got a kind of a big belly, right? But by BMI, they could be just considered overweight, or they could just be fine, right? They could be in a healthy range by BMI standards. But they're actually morbidly obese, because their waist is big for their height and they have low muscle mass. It's just as bad as being super morbidly obese, right? Like, I call it the Homer Simpson look. And that's a huge portion of the men in America right now, and women. And that's what we're going to talk about in predominance here. But I just wanted to preface this. I'm not shitting on BMI. I just think it is not complete enough. And it does do like, it doesn't really capture exactly longevity and things like that. Because visceral fat, waist circumference, is by far the most telling measure of chronic illness development, longevity, health status, those sorts of things. Because the visceral fat that builds up in your cavity, in your torso, in your stomach cavity, that shit's the shit that's going to kill you. It's wrapping around your organs. It's going to kill you. It's going to squeeze all that out, and it's going to cause you to have type 2 diabetes, cancers, cognitive issues, those sorts of things. And you wonder, like, well, the person doesn't seem super fat. Well, they don't need to be super fat if they've got a huge visceral fat deposit. That will kill them. And it will cost all of us their life and the treatment towards the end of it. So hi, Awesome Sauce. Thank you for using soft pause, honey. I appreciate you. Yes. We are going to go right here. Let me check it out here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Wow, hang on a second. I'm not finding my screens. Very strange. Very weird. Give me 1 second. I'll have them ported over here. You're late. Shut the fuck up. No, I'm not. I'm never late. I'm just right on time for when the fuck I want to be here. Fuck off. It's amazing how that's, and I know you're kidding, but seriously, fuck you. So you're late. Fuck you. I will go and do and say anything I want whenever the fuck I want. I'm not on anybody's timetable but mine and Crystal's. Period. What? Side note, I love that you have weird animal names. I also have weird animal names. One of my cats is named Mr. President, and my dog is named Maybe. So Awesome Sauce, why is that weird? Because she's awesome. She's the awesome sauce. Yogi, hi Yogi. Yogi is my wife does yoga. She's a yoga instructor. Mr. Kitty, he's a male and he's a cat. And Jinxie is kind of a cute little name for a black cat. So come on now. But I hear what you're saying. I'm just playing around. I'm just playing. Let's see. I'm still trying to get this thing to work here. Boom. Window. That's this window. That's that window. So I'm going to close that one. Close that, and that. So this should help me out here. Okay, let me see if I can do this now. Here it is. Perfect. All right. What's that? Give me 1 second. Yogi is a delicious tea as well. Oh, okay. I was like 2. Whoops. Going to message you on Rumble since YouTube won't show my shot. Yeah, well, fuck YouTube. And I'm on YouTube right now, but fuck YouTube. YouTube took down last night's episode of Evening Rants, saying it was medical misinformation because I shared some woman's story and she said things I don't want to say because then I'll get taken off. But fuck that. Fuck that. That's all I got to say. So ridiculous bullshit. Here we go. Let me open this up a little bit so I can see what's going on. Just taking my time. Here we go. Bang. All right. Let's actually start with this one. This is from, and this is how long it is. This is from 2013, right? And this is Hospital Medica. And it estimates of years of life lost due to obesity were higher and more accurate when using waist to height ratio, WHTR, than body mass index, according to a new study. Researchers at Oxford Brookes University, United Kingdom, compared the effects of central obesity as measured by waist to height ratio and total body obesity as measured by BMI on life expectancy expressed as years of life lost. Researchers then created a Cox proportional hazards model using data from the Health Survey of England and the Health and Lifestyle Survey, calculated years of life loss at ages 30, 50, and 70 by comparing the life expectancies of obese patients to those that lived at optimum levels of BMI and waist to height ratio. So the research found that overall mortality risk was associated with BMI, But waist to height ratio estimates were higher and appeared to be more accurate indicators. For example, a 30-year-old man with a BMI in the highest category, over 40 kilograms per meter squared, has a years of life lost value of 10.5 years. But as measured using the waist to height ratio method, he has a value of 16.7 years life lost, which means he's going to die in his early 50s, if not sooner. A 30-year-old woman who has years of life lost valued at 5.3 years compared with 9.5 years when using waist to height ratio. And a 50-year-old man in the most severe case of BMI had a year's life loss of 9.7 compared to 12.1. So it's about 25% or 30% higher of years to life loss when you use waist to height ratio. The use of waist to height ratio in public screening with appropriate action could help add years to life because it tells us who's more at risk, right? Because one more time, it doesn't catch everybody. Now we can hop over to here. Waist circumference superior to other fat measures for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And this makes a lot of sense because if you have a big waist measurement, it also means that you have visceral fat around your organs and it's going to develop into your liver. Recent published data showed that association between both trunk fat mass and waist circumference an increased risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. However, waist circumference was superior to bioelectric impedance analysis. BMI and waist circumference convey insufficient information of body composition, fat distribution, and visceral fat. The researchers wrote BMI's limitations are most evident in cases of lean but metabolically unhealthy individuals who, despite having a normal BMI, have increased central adiposity, just like what I was saying. So they have they're leaner and they have a normal BMI, but they have a large visceral fat deposit. So therefore, they are not healthy. And predisposition of cardiometabolic complications, including non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. While computerized tomography, magnetic resonance imaging, and DEXA are precise fat assessment methods, they are impractical for routine use. DEXA scan also, DEXA scan, if you eat meat the day before, it registers as lean mass, but same with bioelectric impedance. As a nested study with the Houston Barrett esophagus study, researchers compared bioelectric impedance analysis fat measures, namely trunk fat mass and total body fat measure, between 48 patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and 75 controls without non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Age, sex, race, ethnicity were not different between the patients and the control. So this is, apples to apples. Measures significantly associated increased non-alcoholic fatty liver disease risk after adjustment for age, sex, race, and ethnicity included BMI, total body fat mass, waist circumference, and trunk fat mass was not significant. And after further adjustment of waist circumference, researchers no longer observed significant association between BMI, total body fat mass, and total body fat with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. However, waist circumference remained significant. So these are just all very important things to understand. I did want to point out that right here, this is the, everybody always talks about, and this is by BMI, right? But everybody always talks about how we are, 42% obese in America. We're 42% obese. We're way more than 42% obese. First of all, those numbers were from years ago. They actually were collected in 2018 because the source of the overweight data is from 2018. It's about to be 2025. Just putting that out there. And 2017 and 2020, March of 2020, you mean right before the Great Fattening? So 42% right before the Great Fattening, and the 42% was already low because if you look at waist to height ratio, it is going to capture a lot more people being obese, being sickly, being metabolically impaired. So I just wanted to point that out real quick too. This is what is the average waist size for women? This is from 2019. Everybody is different and every person's shape is unique. No two people are the same, which means individual factors like waist size don't always mean much when it comes to health. For instance, if you have a 30-inch waist, but you're also 6'6", you're actually pretty lean. But if you are 5 feet tall and you have a 30-inch waist, you're fat. Or getting there. So 30 was a little low. I should have said 40. If you have a 40-inch waist and you're 6'6", you're probably likely going to be considered still in a healthy range. If you have a 40-inch waist and you're 5 foot tall, you're fat as fuck. In fact, one-size-fits-all charts for weight and health risks are not always helpful. Healthy bodies compare to all shapes. But waist size can help you find if you're at risk for potential health issues, including conditions like heart disease and diabetes, cancer, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, kidney disease, osteoarthritis, stroke, cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's. Why limit it to just those 2 things, you fucking stupid fucks? I'm not a big fan of Healthline. Though you shouldn't take your idea of health on any one number, it's important to understand that these numbers can mean what these numbers can mean and when it might be time to take action. Take action, yeah. So U.S. Average for U.S. women at a quick look, and these numbers are, by the way, from also 2018, which is crazy. But the averages for women in the United States: waist size is 38.7, height is 63.6 inches, weight is 170 pounds, pant size is a large to extra large, and a dress size is 18 to 20. I'm just going to say for the record, that's fucking pathetic. That's horrible. Like absolutely, objectively horrible. That puts every woman, the average woman in America is well into the obese category when it comes to waist to height ratio. That puts the waist height ratio at 0.60, I think 0.602 or 0.6015 something. Sorry, my brain's not fully doing the math right now. That was just quick off the top of my head. But the average waist size of a woman in the United States is 38.7, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which doesn't prevent any type of disease. But anyway, that measure is an increase from the decade before. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, because you're not preventing any fucking diseases because you're not even worried about people gluttoning themselves. But anyway, by comparison, the average height of a U.S. woman is 63 inches or 5 feet 3.5 inches tall. Don't give them the half inch. The average weight is around 170 pounds, which that used to be considered an NFL receiver. With these measurements, the typical American woman wears a large to extra large pant size or a size 18 to 20. Wow. So this is the average waist size. 20 to 30-year-olds is 37.1, and then 40 to 60 is 39.4, and then 60 and over is 39.9. Way too fucking big. Way too big. Average for U.S. teen girls. Averages for teen girls in the United States. Average waist size for a teen girl in the United States is 32.6. And she wears a pant size of medium to large, and her dress size is a 12. You should all be extremely, if you're the parent of a teen girl and that fits you, you should be extremely, extremely, extremely upset with yourself. So if the teenage girl is only like 62 inches tall, now we have a problem. Now they're over 0.5. They're in the overweight category already. And that's just average. That means that's like for just being the average, there's a lot on either side. For adolescents and teen girls, ages 13 and 19, the average waist size is 32.6, which is the equivalent of a medium or large pants, or the average size 12. Teen girls' waist size increases every year, with one exception around age 18. It slightly falls. However, it increases the following year at age 19, which there's not really a reason for that because they're already too big. And for those saying that that's not that big, please do understand that this right here today was measured at 28.5. So my waist is smaller than the average teen girl's by almost 2 inches. That's fucking crazy. That is next level crazy. That's wild. That's really, 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 really wild. Whoops. So waist to height chart. Individuals' waist measurements won't tell you much about them just by themselves. However, there's a threshold of measurement for which a variety of health problems increase. The measures are above 31.5 inches for the waist measurement is risk level, which is, by the way, That means that the average teen girl is at risk level, and 34.6 inches, and it is substantially increased. Fucking so pathetic. Just pathetic. It's really, really, really bad. And likewise, for your waist-height ratio, basically what you do is you take your waist measurement in inches or centimeters or whatever you feel good with, and divide it by your height measurement in the same measurement, and it comes up with a percentage. If it's under 42%, you are underweight. If it's 42 to 48%, you're of a healthy weight. That's me. If it's 49 to 57%, you are overweight. And if it's over 58, you are obese. And just remember what I said, the average American woman has a waist to height ratio of 0.601 or something like that. So the average American woman is in fact obese. So just to show that, and the average American male is in the overweight category, which I find to be fucking ridiculous. Actually, let me pull that up. Give me 1 second here. Here it is. So let me do the math real quick. And these are from, and by the way, these are from a while ago. Like if you look here, it's from 2015 to 2018 data that they're using. So, but if you take 40.5 divided by 69.58. Oh yeah, so the average male and the average female by this chart are obese. So by waist to height ratio, even back in 2018, we were over 50% obesity. And this is why we should use this. This is why we should be paying closer attention to waist to height ratio, because it is much more telling by the data, by every study I could find, comparing waist to height ratio, BMI, waist circumference, waist to hip ratio. Waist to hip ratio is stupid. I had somebody ask me about it the other day. The reason why it's dumb is because it has two variables, right? The numerator and the denominator are both possible variables. They're both change, right? Like your waist measurement changes while your hip measurement changes. And especially for women, they might not always change the same way. Like a person losing fat, it's weird how the body distributes fat, right? Sometimes, like right now, I still have a little bit of fat under here, and that is normally the last to go. But right now, my abs are starting to peel out, right? So it's like this thing, and this is almost just like loose skin. This is almost completely gone. My love handles are almost completely gone. But this will go last. Same thing for a lot of women, just genetically how you are. Sometimes the waist measurement goes, the hip measurement goes before the waist measurement. So it makes it appear that they're actually getting less healthy versus more healthy. And that's why I don't like it, because it's two variables. At least with waist to height ratio, your height is not going to significantly change in any course of time. Once you get older, you tend to shrink a little bit, and that's more from compression of like the diminishment of discs in your spinal column, and you lose. If each one of those loses like even a tiny little bit, you can lose a whole inch or so. Like that's what happened to me. I was 5'10", now I'm 5'9", and that's because I have disc degeneration, like 3 of my discs in my lower back. I feel great. It's not a problem. Don't worry about it. But we need to take a look at this, because waist to height ratio is the most predictive. It's every study I found, right? It's every study I found that is about longevity, health, chronic illness development, everything like that. And to me, that's what we should be looking at if we really want to help people. But the people at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, one more time, I don't find them trying to prevent anything. Because if they were, this information, by the way, this is their website. This is their website. And you can tell that they don't seem too concerned with it, because the information is approaching 7 to 10 years old after a massive public health dilemma caused by our public health officials, where people got very, very, very fat, much, much, much fatter, and then started, injecting themselves with shit. So I would argue that has probably gotten likely much, much, much worse than since these numbers were taken. It looks like the entire country is made of Homer Simpsons, so waist to height ratio would likely be much higher. But one more time, this is why we should be using this. And let's see, example. I just did the example for you. Health weight loss quiz, fuck off. How to measure your waist. And I normally do this. I'll show everybody this. How to measure your waist height ratio. I won't read the instructions that they do because I think I give a better description. So down to my waist, right? So what you do is right here is my sternum. Right here is my belly button. Let me move this over. Right here is my sternum. Right, that's my xiphoid process, actually. So it is midway between here and here. So if you do midway, say this is my hand, midway is this finger. This finger almost always goes to the bottom of your floating rib right here, right? So this is the bottom of my back ribs, right? If you go like this and around, I think it's a better measurement than trying to get above. Like I know I can do like 2 fingers above and it's right there. It works out every time. But I still do oftentimes like reach for the back ribs and then go around. This is the smallest portion of your waist, or at least it's supposed to be. And instead of you guys just looking at my fucking crotch. And you take a tape measure and you measure around it. You don't need to have it pulled super tight. But you don't want it super loose. And that is your waist measurement. And for our clients, daily communication, by the way, weekly video conferences, for our clients, we oftentimes have them just do this once they've reached a certain weight. That way it's more telling about like what their health is like versus what the BMI says or even what the scale says, to tell you the truth. So that is how you measure waist to height ratio. And I suggest you do this once a month. I don't even step on the scale. I just do my waist to height ratio and I look at the mirror, right? I can tell in my neck when I'm getting leaner and not. I can tell obviously the rest of my body when I'm getting leaner or not. And then I just do take my waist measurement once a month. And we're good to go. So let's see here. Let's move on to this one. Okay, so this is an interesting one, by the way, I think. This is causal relationship of obesity and musculoskeletal chronic pain, a 2-sample Mendelian randomized study. So we're just going to go to the background. Is the association between obesity and musculoskeletal chronic pain has attracted much attention these days. However, the causal relationship between them uncertain. Hence, the study performed by the Mendelian randomization MR analysis to investigate a causal effect of body mass index, waist circumference, hip circumference, waist to hip ratio, and knee pain. The study revealed that BMI was positively related to knee pain, hip pain, and back pain. And waist circumference and hip circumference were positively associated with waist and knee pain, while waist to height ratio was not related to WHR. Oh, their waist to hip ratio wasn't. So trying to fool me. Anyway, boom, boom. This is an interesting one. This is off PubMed. And this is, oh, you guys can't see it. I did it again. Damn it. So that one wasn't that important anyway. But this one is waist circumference, abdominal obesity and depression among overweight people, obese U.S. adults, National Health and Nutritional Examination Survey of 2005 to 2006. So just to be perfectly aware, your public health officials, your doctors, everybody like that have known all this. And yet we still let rise this ridiculous body positivity bullshit. This, you can't tell me you can't look at me and tell if I'm healthy. Yes, the fuck I can. If I can visually see that you are wider around than you are tall, you are not fucking healthy. If you even look close to it, if you've got a big belly sticking out in front of you, you are not healthy. Reality exists. Get there faster. But this, let's go to the abstract of it. The background obesity is associated with an increased risk of mental illness. We see this all the time. This explains Tess Holliday and everybody else because they are, it affects your cognition. So they are low IQ, crazy people. Anyway, sorry, it's just science. It's the science. It's a closer with mental illness. However, evidence linking body mass index, a measure of overall obesity, to mental health is inconsistent. The objective of this study was to examine the association of depression symptoms with waist circumference or abdominal obesity among overweight or obese individuals. The method was a cross-section national representation sample from the 2005 to 2006 National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey was used. We analyzed the data from 2,439 U.S. adults, 1,325 men, and 1,114 non-pregnant women ages over 20 equal to or over 20, who were either overweight, obese with BMI of equal to or over 25 kilograms per meter squared, which I don't know if that should say, because that's not overweight. So that's, oh, well, over it is overweight. Yeah, over 25 is overweight. So anyway, abdominal obesity has defined a waist circumference of over 102 centimeters, and I don't know why they will switch back and forth between stuff like that. 102 centimeters for men and 88 centimeters for women. Depressive symptoms defined as having major depressive symptoms or moderate to severe depressive symptoms were assessed by the Patient Health Questionnaire 9 diagnostic algorithm. The prevalence and the odds ratios, ORs, with 95% confidence in the intervals, CIs, were for having major depressive symptoms and moderate to severe depressive symptoms were estimated using logistical regression analysis. The results: after multivariate adjustment for demographics and lifestyle factors, waist circumference was significantly associated with both major depressive symptoms or moderate to severe depressive symptoms. So if you have a big waist, you are likely depressed. But instead of telling you to lose weight, doctors will put you on a medication that will very likely lead to you gaining weight, because it makes it so you are just going to not care as much. And also it's just going to make it so people that go on antidepressants always seem to gain weight, and they sometimes cause more depression. I don't know why we even use them, to tell you the truth. And adults with abdominal obesity were significantly more likely to have major depressive symptoms or to have moderate to severe depressive symptoms than those without. The relationship persists after further adjustment for coexistence of multiple chronic conditions and persistent in participants who are overweight when stratified analysis were conducted by BMI. The conclusion: among overweight and obese U.S. adults, waist circumference or abdominal obesity was significantly associated with the increased likelihood of having major depressive symptoms or moderate to severe depressive symptoms. Thus, mental health status should be monitored and evaluated in adults with abdominal obesity, particularly those who are overweight. Which is also why we should be encouraging every person in America to lose weight that is fat. Like this is to not encourage people to lose weight and just monitor it. That means we know this is bad for them. Like, it is not a question. This is what I keep saying to people. It is not a question that obesity is unhealthy. I don't care what anybody says. Anybody that tries to deny it is literally in denial. They're either in denial or they are pandering. It is one or the other. There is not a third option, right? Well, there is a third option. They're either pandering, they're in denial, or they're just super fucking stupid. So, and we do see that a lot because in America, we have people with green hair that are 400 pounds that say, they're sexy. But it is just ridiculous. And this is also, aged over 60, so we don't need to read that. I have been talking for a little while, so I will do some Q&A based off of what we just said or any other questions that any of you may have. I did also want to do this real quick and tell you that we do have some coaching spots available. Oops. Here we go. And I'm going to put these in the chat right now. Thank you very much. Both on Rumble and then here on YouTube. Oh, there we go. And let's get to it. Oh, congratulations. Aaron Koch got her nurse's license. Congratulations, Aaron. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I like this. If I can hear you breathing marshmallows and waddling through the mud, then I can tell you that you're not in the best physical health. No kidding. Like, no kidding. Here we go. I'm bipolar and exercise really helps my mental health. My shrink recommends exercise. You got a good shrink then. Very, very, very much so. And I by the way, I do know people that they're bipolar. It gets much, much, much better when they're a healthy weight and they exercise a lot. I'd still keep, obviously I'm not a doctor and I would keep an eye on it. However, I can tell you that people that are put on SSRIs when they're young run a 30% chance of becoming bipolar, and then are put on both the antidepressants and then bipolar meds. There's a very serious direct correlation between SSRIs and becoming bipolar. Like it increases your chances by 30%. So for all of you out there, be weary. Let's see. True crazy is easy to find. My sister has purple hair and she's over 400 pounds. I'm sorry for you and your family, but that's pretty fucking significantly fucked up. That really, really, really is. So anyway, guys, let's if you have any questions, let's ask them. I'll gladly answer with everything I can. But besides that, I am probably going to hop off here in a little bit, cook some lunch up. I need to eat. I'm not hungry at all, but I definitely need to get some food in me because I have not eaten yet today. Worked out really hard. I am on Nomo and Alchemy again, or not again, but I skipped a couple days just to see how it was. I went back on because I do really want to lean out. So I wanted to remove the food noise that was starting to come back. And I am perfectly fine with being on these supplements for the rest of my life to not binge. 3 years, 8 months, 2 days. What's up, motherfuckers? Anyway. Let's see. I don't know about anybody else, but antidepressants made me feel worse and really messed with me. I feel 100 times better just working out and taking care of food intake. Again, I'm not discouraging anybody from taking their medications that their doctor gave them that's likely not qualified to give you those medications. It's kind of weird that medical doctors are giving you antidepressants. And I'm just like, it's like people think that doctors are the catch-all to know-all. What makes a doctor qualified? What makes a medical doctor qualified to give a person something for their mood? Like, I'm wondering what makes them qualified to be working with psychoeffective meds. Because as far as I know, they're basically like a body mechanic. Like med school is about being like body mechanics. Like they know how the car runs, but they don't know how to fuel the car because they get almost no nutrition, and they don't really understand how the brain, you know what I mean? Like, so it's very weird that they would be prescribing antidepressants when they get no training about depression. It's kind of strange. Same thing. Like, how are doctors qualified to be giving out prescriptions for chronic illness? How are they especially giving out prescriptions for metabolic syndrome when most of them have very little idea how that works? Very little idea. They do your blood test. They say, oh, looks like your cholesterol's a little high. We got to put you on a statin. Or if you're a 40-year-old male or above, we're going to put you on a statin just to be preventative, even though cholesterol is not the actual problem when it comes to heart disease. It's not. Cholesterol, the inflammation is the problem. Cholesterol goes to repair the damage from the inflammation. The inflammation is the issue. But anyway, I digress. Why do obese people say that they don't want to have eating disorders when talking about diet, but they're literally have an eating disorder? It's denial, like complete denial, if you ask me. I hear that all the time. The only eating disorder that they really recognize, they do multiple things. Like they will recognize restrictive eating disorders, and anybody that recognizes binge eating disorder, the modern treatment for binge eating disorder seems to be eat more calories, stay fat, and then like, hey, congratulations, you didn't binge. Yeah, if you're still 300 pounds, you're not recovering from anything. Like if you're still morbidly, if the treatment ends or is like set to be where the goal is to just make you feel happy in the body you're in and it leaves you obese, that is not a treatment. That is a fucking excuse. That is it. That's an excuse. It is not a treatment. And the reason being is society has pandered to these people too long. How do you get past the hunger pangs associated with exercising? Been trying to drink 1 gallon of water or more a day to stay full, but it's still find it difficult. I don't know how big you are, but just as an example, I am 185 pounds probably right now, and I'm going to drink about 220 to 240 ounces of water today. So I would suggest you pop that up a little bit more. But I take no morbidity and alchemy. I don't have physical hunger on no morbidity and alchemy at all, whatsoever. Like, my stomach is very empty right now, and I'm not hungry. I'm sure I'm going to need to eat, so because I want to make sure I get properly nourished. But I have no physical hunger at all whatsoever. So I would absolutely, if you're looking like, and I'm being extremely honest. Now, don't get me wrong. I eat predominantly mostly protein. I stay away from ultra processed foods, all that, and your hunger levels drop. But I don't get physical hunger because I take no morbidity and alchemy every day. I don't get physical hunger. See, Ariel. So I just figured my waist to height ratio for 66 inches female, 42 years old, 0.48. You're good to go. You're healthy. Good to go. Good to go. My doctor told me no pill would help me as much as exercise. Good doctor. He was so right. Yet people tell me that I'm too skinny. Now I'm down from 283 to 156. No, 156 is not even too skinny for most adult males, to be honest. Most adult males weight, the average adult male is 5'9" and weighs 200 pounds. You're fat. You're fat. Like, again, average height male, 185 pounds, likely. I mean, it's very fucking weird, the society we live in. Very, very, very weird. But I'm happy that your doctor, you did well. And yeah, I know that feeling. Nobody said anything to you at your highest. Same. Nobody said shit to me when I was fat. Nobody said shit. People make fun of my appearance all the fucking time right now. They want to medicate me rather than get to the root of the problem. Walk in the sunshine works much better. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, this is also hydroglyph fruit punch is amazing. I love the mango one, and my favorite right here. This is my favorite by far and away. The strawberry and watermelon by far, far, far away. I absolutely fucking love it. In fact, I'm going to have some here in a little bit. Thank you for reminding me. I haven't had it yet. Aaron Cash. Do you have any tips for night shift workers? My appetite always seems higher since being in nights. The biggest pieces of advice I can give to night shift workers, really pay attention to your hydration, because frankly, oftentimes it gets very, very fucked up. But make sure you're getting sunlight, or at least taking a vitamin D supplement, and that will help with a lot of this stuff. And then start your first meal with all protein. Like, the first thing you eat in a day before you go to work, make sure it's like a big steak. It should help you out. Let's see. My son had mental health emergency, ended up in the hospital. The psychiatrist there recommended meds, and I asked questions about them because I had to sign off, and he ended up not going on the meds. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's another thing too. They can't answer the questions about the meds. If your doctor does not specifically tell you about every single possible side effect, how long you're going to be on it, what it will do for the longevity of it, what it's supposed to do, the chances of it working and not working, if they aren't elaborate with that, if they don't go into detail, that is not informed consent. So, and they are, I mean, I know informed consent got to be a thing where we just forgot about for a little while. However, I think we should bring it back. Just saying. I was surprised that Tammy Slayton was able to find a rehab for her food addiction. It just seems like people refuse to acknowledge that food addiction is real. I was surprised by it also, too. Very, very, very surprised by it. Follows here. How much vitamin D supplementation do you recommend? 5,000, 10,000 IUs a day. I personally you should do 5,000 all year round, frankly. Even if you live in a warm climate, it's just prophylaxis, and it will help you with your immune system and stuff like that too. Great question. I'm 57, 175 male, and my waist height ratio is 47.47. You're fucking killing it. I know I'm at the edge of the healthy range. You're still killing it. You're way ahead of fucking 90% of the people your age, 99% of the people your age probably. But I lift weights all the time, and I have abs. Will the waist to height ratio be a little off for people? Nope. Because you can have abs. Like, look at bodybuilders. Bodybuilders have abs, and then there's a huge visceral fat deposit, and it's just distended. So the fat that you're thinking about, like that would hide your abs, that's subcutaneous fat. The fat that's inside you, the torso fat, the visceral fat, that's inside you. That's inside your stomach. So no, it wouldn't. I would if you want to bring it down a little bit, start cutting even more processed foods out of your ultra processed foods out of your diet. And I think that is about it, guys. I do got to get going because I do got to do some cooking, and I don't know if I'm coming live at 6. If I do, it will because a topic hits me, or I feel like doing a Q&A. So I may see you then. If not, I will see you tomorrow. I hope you all have a great day. God damn.